Hello, friends, and welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. That is Harrison Graham. Here with some NFL rumors and news. And we'll begin with some MVP discussion, Harrison. Patrick Mahomes, is he not going to win this award after all?
Yeah, Chiefs Kingdom might be in shambles on this one. I don't think he's going to win it. I think Aaron Rodgers has surpassed him, and with Mahomes officially resting in Week 17, Tom, I don't think Mahomes can win it at this point. The only path for Patrick Mahomes winning the award based on the latest odds and all that stuff, Aaron Rodgers would have to crap the bed against Chicago in Week 17.
It could happen.
Throw like 3 picks, which I don't think that's super likely with the way he's been playing. Rodgers has obviously closed the gap in recent weeks. Look, 6 weeks ago, this race was borderline over. Remember? I'm old enough to remember, and you're old enough to remember, when Russell Wilson had this locked up in September.
Don't call me old.
Then Patrick Mahomes had this locked up in November. Now it looks like that Aaron Rodgers is going to end up winning the award. And look, the numbers are close. You look at it across the board. Rodgers, better completion percentage. Mahomes has the yardage advantage there. Touchdown interception ratio, similar, but that's also in Rodgers' favor as well. QBR neck and neck, but I think what's going to put Rodgers over the top, and we'll show you guys in just a couple of moments, is how they've played of late. And I think that's going to really stand out. But before we get to that, what do you think? Who should win MVP?
I am of the mindset this should be Aaron Rodgers. You guys get your votes in. AR for Aaron Rodgers, PM for Patrick Mahomes. Harrison, quick thoughts. Where do you go here?
I still think there's a good argument for Mahomes. If I had to guess who will win it, I think it'll be Aaron Rodgers. I would type my PM, but I certainly understand why Aaron Rodgers could and probably will win the MVP award.
Let's go more in depth now on this discussion around the MVP as it relates to Mahomes and Rodgers. It's really only those two. Russell Wilson's fallen out. Josh Allen's not really in the mix there
Allen's
either.
That third guy.
He's kind of there, plus 1,500.
I'll say this, the latest odds only have these 3 players. So it's not even it's kind of like in college football, the Heisman Trophy. It's like, oh, it's clearly 3, and then no one else cares. So it's Rodgers, it's Mahomes. Welcome to the party, Josh Allen. You got no chance of winning the award. And like I
Courtesy invite.
I think the last month of the season is going to dictate this, even though, to Mahomes' credit, with injuries, a lot of injuries around him, while the numbers haven't been great, completion percentage down. If you watch the Chiefs play, this offensive line continues to get bullied. Only have 2 of their opening day starters up front. They're still winning games, and I think Patrick Mahomes deserves a lot of credit for that, for keeping things stable on this offense.
Fair.
But then when you look at Aaron Rodgers, this is what's really going to stand out. The efficiency the past month of the season.
Yeah. Look, he's always been somebody who has good touchdown. Actually, not good, excuse me.
Excellent.
Unreal touchdown to interception ratio. But the Aaron Rodgers we've seen this year has been better than the Aaron Rodgers we'd seen in previous seasons. And even though he was still solid, he was still a top 10 quarterback. He wasn't quite the same. This is maybe the best player in the NFL. This guy is going to be an MVP candidate, Aaron Rodgers. That guy has returned this year.
And call me crazy, I think in the last couple of years, I remember thinking to myself, now, he still has a strong arm, but it's starting to wane a bit. I think it's come back this year.
Like, we got angry Aaron, man.
The zip is back on Aaron Rodgers' throws. Who knew drafting A.J. Dillon would get him this fired up?
Yeah, Jordan Love, but
hey, that's what happens at the end of the day. And, yeah, some guy named Jordan Love as well. Speaking of these 2 teams.
Potential Super Bowl preview?
Better team right now. Who you going with?
Ooh. I think I might go Green Bay. Just right now, I'm not saying more likely to win the Super Bowl,
Chiefs
but
have a lot of injuries.
Right now, I'm going to go Green Bay.
I'm still going to type my KC, but Green Bay's probably been the more consistent team as of late. As far as winning the Super Bowl, I still think the Chiefs are the team to beat. Type KC for the Chiefs. Type GB for the Packers. Let us know what you guys think in the comments section.
We're going to keep you guys covered on everything going around the NFL this offseason and, postseason too. That means news, rumors, a lot of draft coverage, playoff breakdowns as well. If you guys want to stay up to date with a company that actually talks about sports, wild, right? Hit that big red button and subscribe today. Got some deals for you guys here. If you head over to chatsports.com/jersey deal. Again, chatsports.com/jersey deal. You're going to find a bunch of official NFL jerseys for under $80. Whatever team you cheer for, Chiefs, Seahawks, Bears, Cowboys, Niners, the Jags even. They got you guys covered at chatsports.com/jersey deal. By the way, Harrison, I love the star jerseys for the Cowboys. Producer Brett does not like them.
Is it too early to buy a Trevor Lawrence Jags jersey?
You can custom make one if you want.
There you go.
If you don't want to wait.
Chatsports.com/jersey deal. By the way, a select few of the jerseys at this link, like the Baker Mayfield Browns one, OBJ as well, $35.99. It's an excellent steal. Lots of good deals. Chatsports.com/jersey deal. That link will be in the comments and in the description. Let's take a look at the latest surrounding the Seattle Seahawks, Tom. The Seahawks still in play for that #1 seed. A lot of people wondered, oh, well, they already won the division. Maybe they'll rest their starters, but it sounds like Pete Carroll is going to go for that first-round bye.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of good reasons behind this decision. Obviously, you're concerned about a potential injury, but I think because you're still alive, because you are banking on a Packers and a Saints loss to get either the #1 seed, or if one of those teams loses, you can get up to the #2 seed, which I think is possible at least. And because, frankly, your offense hasn't been clicking in the way it did earlier this year, I say you should go all out and try and win another game late in the season.
Well, here's what Pete Carroll had to say when he was asked about it, saying, look, we're going for it. We would love to have that break for players if we can get it. We're playing for it because it's good for you, it's good for your body, and all of that. So we're going to try and take care of business and get that thing if it's possible. So we're going all out again this week.
Let's talk San Francisco 49ers then here, Harrison. Focusing in on the future of the technical starting quarterback, but he's missed so much time this year, Jimmy Garoppolo. What is going to happen to him in what I think is going to be a pivotal offseason for San Francisco?
This is an interesting situation because we saw last year San Francisco flirted with Tom Brady after Jimmy G took them to the Super Bowl.
They'll flirt again with somebody.
A player or two away from winning the Super Bowl. So now what do you do after a season in which you're going to go 7-9 or 6-10, and he only played in 6 games this year? And by the way, that's 2 out of 3 seasons when he's supposed to be the starter, Tom, where he basically has been unavailable. I think that is of note as well when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo in terms of his future with San Francisco. Now, Shanahan, Tom, did say recently that he expects Jimmy G back. But what else is he going to say? I'll be curious to see how John Lynch and Shanahan approach things at quarterback this offseason.
I think what you'll see is, and this is kind of what Shanahan alluded to in a very open and honest conversation of like, look, I think he's our guy. We saw what he can do for us. But at the same time, you do have to explore all avenues.
Sure.
If they had won the Super Bowl, it's not even a discussion, right? But because you didn't, because he missed that big throw and there were some other mistakes sprinkled in throughout the year and injuries too, you have to at least look at other options. They looked at Brady. I would love to see a Dak Prescott offense with Kyle Shanahan. That's not going to happen. And the Niners are in a spot where, let's say even they lose this week and they go to 6-10, you're picking 15th? 15ish, 14th, 13th?
Maybe fringe top 10 at that point if a couple of things bounce your way.
You need a lot of other wins. You're not going to be in the top 10. So because of that, things are a little bit tricky, Harrison. So what should they do? K for keep, C for cut, T for trade. Get your votes in. What do you think, Harrison?
I think it's pretty simple for me, and I think there's so many factors on what happened in San Francisco this year.
Yeah.
If I'm the Niners, I'm running it back in 2021 because for a couple of reasons you just said, and this is why I'm typing my K for keep. Number 1, injuries all over your roster.
Yeah.
Number 2, this core on this football team are still youngish players in their prime outside of like a Richard Sherman. He might be the one guy who was a part of that Super Bowl team that may not be back next year, but I think you can patchwork to replace him. Jason Verrett, maybe you bring him back. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo showed enough in 2019 that he can be the guy to lead this offense. I mean, the amount of injuries, and this just scratches the surface, by the way. There are a number of other injuries, but Jimmy Garoppolo missed 10 games. George Kittle missed half the season. Deebo Samuel, the top receiver, he's been out a lot of the year. Even Brandon Ayuk missed a handful of games, and now we've seen he's a weapon now. That's another weapon for Jimmy Garoppolo. Bosa Ford basically didn't play this year. Solomon Thomas, Jalen Hurd. Like, there's been a ton of injuries for San Francisco this year, and the core of this roster, Tom, is still in place. Think about what Shanahan's been able to accomplish this year with all those injuries.
Everything.
How many coaching staffs go 3-13 with this roster this year? I think a lot. I think a lot. I think Shanahan has done a great job, and if you get your key guys back, like Jimmy Garoppolo, why can't this team win the NFC West next year? I think it's very much a possibility. I think this team could be a Super Bowl contender in 2021. I run it back if I'm San Francisco. Hey, Cowboys fans, do you guys think the Cowboys will make the playoffs? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Who the hell would have thought, Tom, that 3 weeks ago this team would still be alive, but the NFC East just continues to deliver in 2020. So get your votes in, type 1 for yes or type 2 for no. Now, to get into the latest Cowboys news and rumors, Tom, Zack Martin not going to be available for Week 17.
And not a huge surprise. The Cowboys, the earliest opening of his window was going to be around Week 17. He was placed on IR, by the way, earlier this year. The Cowboys have activated his window. What that means is there's now a 21-day window, so 3 weeks, in which the Cowboys can give Zack Martin practice time. Now, he didn't practice today, and we'll see if he can practice on Thursday. Probably not. But in that 21-day window, they have to then decide, okay, he's back on the active roster or he sticks on IR for the rest of the year. So the Cowboys are saying there's a chance that Zack Martin can return to the offensive line and once again instantly be the best player on that unit. But, of course, it requires them to actually win in Week 17.
Yeah, to simplify the 21-day window, basically, if they were to win this game and all of a sudden he's ready for next week, he's eligible to return.
Yeah.
That's what that does, and it gives him the opportunity to get some real live reps in practice and see if he can progress well enough to be available for a potential wild card game. And, hey, if he can go, even if he's 80, 85%, now I wouldn't jeopardize his future necessarily, but if you feel like there's no risk of major injury, if you get into the playoffs, why not have him play if he gets cleared and is ready to go?
I think that's exactly right. I think you're trying to balance a couple different things here. A, of course, Zack Martin's short-term health, his long-term health, your odds of winning Week 17, and then, of course, what happens if you make the postseason.
Yep.
I think the number one thing you have to do, because even if you make the postseason, things aren't looking great for you. I don't think you're in a position where you can jeopardize his long-term health or even a more serious injury in time for 2021. I think that is their first priority, which I think is why he's not playing this week. Now, if you get to the postseason time and you're still alive and you're in it, then I think you become a little bit more aggressive in terms of, do we bring him back if he's at that 85% mark?
And look, call me crazy. I know we talked about in the offense all the time early on in the season, the NFC East, about the Cowboys in particular. Why even try to win? Just get that draft pick. But things are weird in 2020, man. You win 4 in a row to make the playoffs. Andy Dalton's looking like a solid quarterback. Weirder things could happen.
The Cowboys
win a playoff game at home. Who knows?
The Cowboys had a less than 1% chance of making the postseason because they needed so much ridiculous help along the way, and they've gotten all of it over this past month or so. 3 wins in a row, and part of the reason why they're still alive is the offensive line has fared better in recent weeks.
It's been serviceable.
Part of that is because of a good game plan by Kellen Moore, and people were complaining, well, why aren't they throwing it deep? Why are they doing all these reverses and motion and stuff and trick plays? Well, because your offensive line is bad. Yeah. This is not a good offensive line. Look, Connor McGovern has filled in pretty well. I think he's a better run blocker than, say, a pass blocker, but he's done enough, and he's been able to survive, and frankly, Terrence Steele's played better. Connor Williams actually been a good starting guard in the NFL this year. Brandon Knight was better before his injury, but he's hanging in there.
I think you made a good point, too. I've thought this for a couple of weeks. I think Kellen Moore has done some of his best work with this patchwork group because he's had to get more creative. He's had to adjust the game plan, whereas before it's, all right, we just think our players are better than yours. Now you have to actually draw some things up and figure out, okay, how can we find the mismatches? How can we maximize Andy Dalton? I think the last month or so he's been able to do that.
It's been fun to see these different iterations of the Kellen Moore offense. The first 3 weeks of last year was fun. They were very creative, and then I think Jason Garrett kind of went, okay, we got to be conservative here.
Rein it in.
We're playing the Saints, and that's what happened there. And then they never really got to do it the same way in terms of vertical attacking, but you've seen more short area, silent-to-silent attacking, and they've had enough success.
And the thing for the Cowboys, Tom, is like we mentioned off the top here, they are alive. You beat the Giants, who favored by a couple of points there, 3-point favorites on the road. Jason Garrett revenge game, potentially.
The Cowboys should win this game.
They
should. The Cowboys' defense is bad. The Giants' offense is equally as bad.
It's maybe even worse.
This is a matchup of strengths and weaknesses.
So you win that game, then you need a little bit of help. You need Philadelphia to beat Washington. I don't think that's that out of the realm of possibility. I think this is a 50-50 type game.
I will say this. Ironically enough, I think the Cowboys have put forward a very good game plan of how to limit and stop Jalen Hurts. When they went to that C.J. Goodwin spy package, and
the
said,
CJ
hey,
Goodwin
of
spy
all
package.
players, like it just, I shout out Mike Nolan. That was a brilliant plan. I never would have thought of it. But it worked because there were multiple times where Hurts was like, I'm going to run. Oh, wait, CJ Goodwin's there.
Yeah.
I got to look downfield. That game-stealing INT late, they had the CJ Goodwin package
All
out
of a
there.
sudden,
It worked really well.
Hurts is forcing a couple of passes,
They
and he
made
turns
him
the
roll
ball over.
left, too, and he wasn't very good in that area. It was essential.
And Washington's got the number 5 scoring defense in the NFL, so that could be one of those 17-16 type of games because neither offense has been that great. But
Both teams might get that.
Who would have thought, Tom, that we'd be sitting here in Week 17 and the Dallas Cowboys are very much alive in the NFC East, and guess what? If they win it, they're hosting a playoff game.
And I made this point earlier. If it's the Cowboys, Washington, or New York, whoever it is, winner of the NFC East is going to win that home playoff game. Always bet on the home sub-500 underdog in the postseason. Source the one other time it happened.
It's an unwritten rule. Tom Brady will be in absolute shambles if it happens. Who will win the NFC East? Type WAS for Washington. Type DAL for the Cowboys. Type NYG for the Giants. By the way, Tom, on the Cowboys report, you're going to have maybe double duty on Sunday. A watch party for Cowboys-Giants at 1 o'clock Eastern, and then perhaps Sunday Night Football? Are we ready to commit to that if the Cowboys win?
Yeah, we're going to do it.
Okay.
We're going to do it for you guys. Also, can we institute a rule if the Giants somehow win the division, we put the other 10-win team in the AFC in instead?
Yes.
I think that seems fair, right?
That works for me.
That's 6-10 Giants team.
So who wins the division? Go ahead and let us know.